what kind of big trades. There's a three types of the big trades. There's a three types of the big trades. You see, now this is the market delta bubbles. It's at the very top. Okay, here we go. This is the big trades, right? Oh, interesting, isn't it? What you see, those orange and whites, that's a big trades from the indicator big trades. But behind that, you see the deltas. What the big trade indicators show, it is on the footprint, large amount of the bid or ask on the footprint, like this one, for example, orange. So orange is what is on the bubbles red, and the white, what is on the bubbles green. So this is the buyer, and there is like a green behind that, the delta. This is the bid and ask large order on the big trade. While if I take this off or out on the bubbles, it is the final result as delta between bid and ask. So these bubbles are less in size because it's not showing what is the bid or large ask was there, but it shows the one minus another, and there is a final results. This is big, but big in who is stronger. So now we're not only showing the large orders, we're showing who is stronger, bid or ask. That's what the delta is. That's why there is these delta bubbles. It says a delta bubbles. So, and now we're seeing the final outcome in this candle, or final outcome in that situation. If I add the footprint, you will see exactly the numbers. So I made these bubbles slightly transparent. If you wanted to, you can make it more transparent. Like over here, what's going on, you can see why there's a 57, because 68 on the selling side and 19 on the buying side. Delta between, or difference between, gonna be 57. If there is a big trade, it show you 68 on the selling side, large 68, but as delta is only 57 on this indicator. So on a big trade indicator, other one that I removed, it's gonna show 68, but on the delta it shows 57 as the final outcome. So that is the difference between the two. Large amount of trades happens right on this price line in this candle. The question is, when somebody wanted to buy indicator big trades, for example, there's a new software that people try to push now. They're saying a big trades, and the one particular fellow, he's pushing big trades. It is so awesome. What the heck is awesome in this big trades indicator? Because the question really matter if this bubble, or a big trades bubble or delta bubble, composite out of one large institutional trade, or it's composite out of bunch of or collection of the other traders sitting right over here. Many orders, or a large big order like this one, large big order 100, or bunch of the small orders sitting on an MBO compose this bubble. When you're trying to trade, do you want to know the difference? If that's a large trade, but it is one player, which is like a one big dude or institution, hedge fund or whatever, or it's simply a bunch of you and me sitting here and decided, we're going to go in the same direction, and bunch of us. The question is, it's not only about the size, it is about composition of this order. And now that is real question to distinguish a third type of the big trade. Big as this 68, or a big as delta 57, or a big because it's a one person, one institution, or collection of the small orders into this large trade. Depending on the answer, you're gonna take a different trading decision. You will understand who is sitting here. If this is the large institution, you know when the price is going to come back, they will support it, most likely. If they have a juice, they have a energy to return to that position again. If they're going up or going down, that means the price have a chance to return it. But if there's like a small dudes, small order sitting here, collection of them, then the chance for the price to return to this area is much smaller. This is just a one scenario why there's actually three type of the big trades indicators. So there's three types of the big indicators. We are working right now on making the third one that is capable to distinguish there is a bunch of small as a collection of them become a one large trade on this price line, or it's a one large individual trade from one institution, let's say. So we're working on that. And here is a what the trader that buys indicator needs to think about. The only way to make that third type of indicators, you need the MBO. Without the MBO DOM like this, you have no way to distinguish if this is the one large institution or a collection of the bunch of people become a large trade. You have no idea. So when you buy a big trade indicator, you always should ask yourself a question. Is that based on the MBO? MBO is the market buy order. That means you can see each order size and volume, like over here, like these numbers. Volume and contracts. 10 is a contracts and 21 is volume. Without the MBO data or indicator, it's impossible to make the third type of this big trade indicator. When they have it based on the level 2, they don't have enough data to really distinguish composition of that big trade. If there's a one big shark sitting here, or there's a bunch of small fish out there, compose this large trade. Now, when somebody is not saying we have a big trade based on MBO, they have it based on the data level 1 or data level 2, which is not sufficient to distinguish a third type of large trades. When people avoid saying it or mentioning it's based on MBO, that means they don't want to say, no, it's not MBO, it's a guesstimation, or it's maybe like over here, you're seeing bid, you're seeing ask, and that's what the big trade means over here. You practically see it on a footprint. You can see it on a footprint, big trades. You don't need the indicator. For example, is that a big trade? No, 4. On this candle, the biggest is 4. On this candle, you see the large buyer is 13, and there is a green bubble over there, small one, but it's still delta buying bubble. You see, for the large trade on the bid and ask on a level 1, you don't need the indicator. You see it on a footprint. If this footprint is so clear, like what you have here, and it's easy to read, you don't need to have an algebra or like, so you can see, oh, okay, that was 13, that was 22 over here on the seller side, and 21 on the bubble. Okay, so the bubble's actually kind of helping to see faster what's happened on the footprint. So it's a faster visual version to read it, but you don't need to have the big trades on top of the footprint. That's why sometimes you're seeing me trading only with a footprint or only with these bubbles, and I don't need the footprint because I understand what's going on. Although this footprint is like absolutely amazing, shows this imbalance 4, 6, 6, 7, 9. This is the imbalance zone that's created, and you see this 49. This is real-time delta developing in this area. This is the summary of this area of this candle, not below, but like only over here. 49 buyers. So this 49 buyers sitting right over here. And this is absolutely easy to make a decision based on the summary of delta over here, and you're seeing these imbalances, boom, baga, boom, and you see the even zone because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, but you need at least 3. You see, like over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you can make a decision that this is unfinished business. That's why the price is coming back. Now, we're doing about the same business over here, like we're repeating from here, but visually it's easy to see. So the big trade indicator is not necessarily if you have a good footprint. It's like I can remove the footprint, and I love to trade it on a small time frame, like I mentioned to you, like on a 1 second time frame, and then the less is more on the chart. But when you get into the groove, you can do that. Into groove, you can like feel it, and you kind of like that this way. Only what's missing on this chart is the Third type of indicator that we are working right now. Right now, we're developing big trades that will give you a difference between the big one whale or shark and big school of fish, and difference between the smart and the stupid trades. So that's what we are working right now. We're going to produce that. But if anybody who is selling you indicator big trades, not mentioning on what data it's built, and not mentioning it's built on MBO, that means it's simply the footprint kind of stuff. This is the difference between the two type of indicators that we have as a big trade. Big mean large trade, or market delta. We call these bubbles market delta on purpose, because it is the final outcome of the fight between the bid and ask in this price line, because it's kind of like a conclusion, who is stronger here. So when I see the conclusion, I don't need to compute, calculate, do all of the math. That is the difference between three big trades indicators that people in the community not always aware what kind of big trades they're using. Like, see, like this bubble is 61. Okay, easy to see. If I make it larger, I see 69 on a buying side, 8 on the seller side. 69 minus 8, what is going to be 61? This is the 61 bubble, bing boom. So that is the big trade. There's a three type of the big trades indicators, and people sell indicators because they just like, I want to make a good money. But depending on the type of the big trade indicator, you're gonna make a very, like sometimes very different decision to enter or to exit. Especially if you're a scalper, you're gonna make a very different decision right over here. Because like I mentioned, if this big trade is a one big large institution or shark or a whale, I know if this person want to return the price, they have a capacity to support it, to reverse it, and boom, go again into the same direction. But if there's a bunch of small school of fish, individual trades over here, composite into the one large, they don't have a power enough to come back. That's why it's a good idea to understand the nature of the indicator, such as a big trade. And I like your question. Very good question.